But in regards to sex being marriage, what is said after you get married? The marriage has to be consummated with what? Sex. Consummated is to make complete, make official. Marriage, it doesn't officially be marriage until you've actually had sex with the individual. What's going on? This is Will My Craven. Coming to you another day with another video. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Most of all, leave a comment. If you'd like to make a donation, you can leave one at the bottom. Well, you can go to the description at the bottom of the screen and make any type of donation you see fit to leave. And that would be gladly appreciated. Excuse me. And with that being said, let me jump right on into this topic. Stumbling and bumming a little bit here, just fumbling the ball, huh? But yeah, I know this one is not gonna be to a lot of people's liking because it goes against the norm of what they've been taught, and that's fine. I'm not. That doesn't bother me, so I'm not too concerned if this doesn't get hardly any views after this point, or people just stop after I say what I say. But with that being said, marriage. Sex is marriage. And I know that's not something people want to hear because what they've been taught is that marriage is standing in front of one who officiates a ceremony, and then they kiss and do all that other stuff and say I do's. And then afterwards, basically in the U.S., they go and sign documentation, marriage license, and they're officially married. Hate to tell you, but that technically was not marriage. And a lot of people already know that that way of practice transpired in the U.S. as far as a marriage license and all that crap was after slavery. They want to stop brown people, off-white people want to stop brown people from marrying off-white women, and they came up with the whole marriage license thing to see who was marrying who. Try to put a stop to it. Prior to that, that was not happening. People just, all right, this is my woman. Okay, we're married. It'd be known, all right, we married, and you knew this person was married. They told it and blah, blah, blah. Rings and all that stuff diamond rings wasn't a big deal. They did have rings, but it wasn't diamond rings, and that's a whole nother British actor hoax crap to get people coerced into buying diamonds after the whole mining stuff to make money. A lot of the crap that they do as far in regards to marriage today is all about money. They want to get rid of that marriage license because it generates money. This is why they have no problem with the alphabet clan getting married, because if they get divorced, there's more money involved. There's always money involved some kind of way with marriage. It's profitable. This is why I say it's a business. And you got to know which side of the fence you're going to be on as far as the business. But in regards to sex being marriage, what is said after you get married? The marriage has to be consummated with what? Sex. Consummated is to make complete, make official. Marriage, it doesn't officially be marriage until you've actually had sex with the individual. So every single time you turn around and you have sex with somebody, you're technically getting married to them. That's technically what's happened. I don't know if some of you all are old enough to remember, but I remember when I was younger, my grandparents and them, they all knew when the person was having sex. There was a change that transpired between the both of you. It wasn't like when you was liking somebody and you had that what they call puppy dog love. You could see a little difference, but no, a legit change takes place when you have sex with an individual for the first time. This is what happened when you first have sex with an individual. People notice a change in you. You've now become enlightened, awakened things are totally different. There's just something that just goes off in you that transpires. So even when you look in the scriptures, there was a high price to be paid if you defiled a woman and had sex with her and didn't, whether you took it or you had no intentions of being married to her. When they found out, you was gonna pay that price for that woman because you now defiled her, and that's now a problem because she was valued extremely high based upon being a virgin. But people don't want to hear that stuff anymore. They want to maintain super high value. It's like the sleazy car dealer. He know there's a thing, something wrong with the car, but he want to try to sell you the car up like it's brand new and take advantage of you when it's not. It's changed. It's been used. It's worn. So, sex being marriage, there's a whole difference. There's a whole difference, especially in a woman when she got her heart broke when a guy stopped talking to her and she didn't even have sex with that guy. It was totally different. And women, if they really think about it, they know this to be true. It was a difference between the guy breaking your heart and all y'all did was talking, as opposed to that guy you really love and then you got past that talking phase and then you had sex with him. You felt dirty. You felt used. You felt abused. You felt low. There was a deeper hurt there. Because technically speaking, the guy who you just married, having sex with, he now disappointed you. He's now defected. He's basically like, that's the first ever experience of divorce technically you had. He's now going about his business and left you feeling in shambles. This is why I say men want to be married more than women do, because if sex is marriage, men come out of the gate wanting sex. At a certain point we hit puberty, there's an innate desire in it that's triggered in our body. So we want to actually be married more than women do, which as women are just pretty much taught. And they're taught to say no until a certain point. This is how it goes, because sex was technically all for marriage. And people still, to this day, preach sex is for marriage. Certain old school churches will still tell you this stuff. Other countries, that mess still goes on that way. It still happens. Because that's the way it was, and it still is in certain places. So you thinking that, oh, okay, it's just sex. It only becomes that after you done this mess with so many people, and now you done lost track, and now your senses have been turned off because you got so much mutation going on in you. You don't even know who the heck you are. You don't even know who you become one with, and now your DNA is just all screwed up. So there's also in the scripture where it tells the woman that she'll become submissive to her husband. Well, you find it kind of interesting that once a woman has sex with that guy for the first time, she becomes submissive to him. And I said this, and there were people who couldn't refute it. The mere fact that a woman will be submissive with you during sex. The whole act of sex, legs open wide, and her getting on the back, that's an inviting position. It's an inviting phase. So now that she's inviting you in, guys who know the fact that he can possibly get her to do anything he wanted to do during that whole sex ordeal. Because she's being submissive naturally during sex. And in this day and age, that might be the number one way and number one reason how you can get a woman to be submissive. She's going to follow you. I mean, we got stuff like BDSM, bondage, all that jazz. It happens in that. Because you've married that individual. You become one with that individual. You now your emotions are connecting, and you want to do this and you want that. And if he tickles your fancy, as some folks say, he tickles your fancy in the right way, there's nothing she's not going to do for you, because that connection happened. Why wouldn't she? And anytime that relationship breaks, that heartbreak, it'd be ugly. I've seen it time and time again in women where that guy, he went and got her pregnant. Next thing you know, it's not working. A lot of them make that statement. Ain't another guy getting that again. Those type of things don't happen when you ain't had sex with the guy, or you had sex with the guy and he break your heart. None of that stuff happens. That only happens after sex is involved, because you actually married that individual, mentally, physically, spiritually. And once you turn around and have a baby, his DNA is in you, and it is now fused to you. Full connection, full oneness. He's now one with her. His DNA's made him one within her. And then that child manifests into one flesh, one being. Two DNAs come together, one being. This is why it don't cease to amaze me why a lot of ministers, pastors, and all that don't understand the aspect of the whole one flesh thing, and why the women in the Bible were frowned upon because she didn't have child, is because his DNA wasn't becoming one with her. She wasn't solidified. Her body wasn't receiving his DNA for whatever reason. That was the whole fruitful aspect. She's not being fruitful and multiplying. And that's a whole nother story, man. The fact of the matter is we all know anytime somebody has sex with an individual, they start acting different. We've made jokes about it. Oh, your nose wide open and all this other stuff. We know this to be true. We just don't want to accept it, because we've been taught to do certain things, and with certain things we just say, oh, okay. It's like, oh, the government, here we go again. Here's the cake. Go ahead and eat it. This is what we want you to eat. It's nutritious for you. Whole time you find out that it wasn't totally nutritious for you. It wasn't as nutritious as what you thought it was. I mean, just the whole thing with the pandemic mess. That they said, oh, you need the vaccine and all this other garbage. And then you turn around and you find out 3 years later that there was a whole lot of not truth going on here. Just no different from, oh, why won't they tell us how to do this financial stuff in school? They don't want you to know that. This is why they don't want you to know the stuff with marriage and how it really should go, because it's profitable. Almost everything in this United States and other little countries is catching on to the mess of foolishness. They're not going to tell you certain things and leave you in the dark because it's profitable for them, and it allows them to control you more. It's all about control. The Matrix. I say it time and time again, that whole bench scene, programs hacking programs, somebody doing something you ain't got no business. They doing stuff they ain't got no business. They don't want to tell you this stuff. They want you to continuously believe that you need to go down here and get this marriage license. Sign up for it. And then we're going to be in your pockets later, because we're going to create such an atmosphere to break up your marriage. We're going to tell her to do this and she need to do that. And then next, it's conflicting with your vision. And they going to tell him to, oh, you need to get in touch with your feminine side and blah, 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 and tell your emotions. And then you do that stuff, and then y'all driving in the opposite direction. You're at odds with each other. And then when you start being at odds, they throw in there, irreconcilable differences. The no fault crap. I remember hearing the stories from my parents and grandparents where you just couldn't go in the courtroom and get divorced. There had to be legit reasons. They wouldn't let you get a divorce unless it was practically infidelity going on. They send you out of there. Now it's like, oh, wait a minute, hold on. Let's stop that crap. We losing way too much money. I mean, the more times they get married, the more they go out here and buy this, the more they go ahead and do this. Oh, yeah, that's taxes. That's tax dollars we get. We gonna tax the goods. We gonna tax the vacation. We gonna tax the ring. We gonna tax them on a new house. Yeah, let's encourage them to get a whole new house. Put them more in debt. And then when you take your money, oh, okay, well, it don't work. Well, now, well, we'll make him responsible. Let's get him for child support. Let's get him for alimony. She can be wrong as all outside doors on two left shoes walking around on somebody's feet. Well, somebody's feet has two left shoes on it. Said that backwards. That's as wrong as the day. It's not right. They don't care nothing about that. It's dollars. Why would they tell you that sex is marriage? They're not. They're going to tell you to hop in bed with this and that one and every other last other person because there's money in that. They're going to preach happiness to you because there's money in that. Oh, okay, yeah. Let's market to them over there. That's the amusement park. Let's market it over there. Let's go to the movies. Let's market it over there to go all these festivals and everything else. City life. Everything within city life. We're going to market that to you because we want your dollars. And we want you to be happy, even though we know happiness is going to fade. We know that when we put you into this system, that our system is designed to where you're going to feel oppressed. You're going to feel things aren't going right. You're going to feel money getting extracted here, there, and everywhere. And it's going to play a marquee role into you two being at odds with each other. This is what's going to happen. They don't care about that. They're not going to tell you none of that. You're going to find this out on your own. And when you do find it out, then other individuals who still stuck in the matrix are going to say, oh, you hurt. Oh, you bitter. No, they just woke up to what's really going on out here. And if sex wasn't marriage, explain to yourself, because you don't have to explain it to me. Explain to yourself why some of the ones in your past that you had a wonderful encounter with sexually, why you may turn around and have a longing for them again. That longing for that individual is totally different from just an individual that you talked to in your past. You wonder what could have happened, as opposed to the person you ended up being intimate with. You knew what happened. It went further. And some are so blinded by it that they forget what all happened until they get with that individual again and say, oh, yeah, now I remember why we ain't working. No. Man, listen. The harsh reality is that sex is marriage. That's just the harsh reality. No, you don't want to accept it. No, you don't want to hear it. But there are so many things if you really sit back and think how you started moving and how go back to when your body count wasn't that high. Whether it's a man or woman, start going back and thinking about when your body count wasn't that high. And some of the ones in your earlier time period and early years, how you actually was responding, how you were treating them. You're more likely treating them like a husband and wife. And even if your count is high, there are still individuals who still do it. I mean, we have these people out here saying, oh, acting like you my husband, you acting like you my wife. We not married, but you act like it. You can't help it because you technically are. You are. You just don't realize it. And it's even more apparent for people who are on the outside looking in and they see your relationship and how you act, how you respond. They're like, oh man, y'all act like a married couple. Y'all gonna fuss and fight and do everything just like a married couple because the whole sex was involved. Once again, the marriage is consummated with sex. The marriage is finalized, complete with sex. It's not really about the ceremony. That's why in the scripture it says what it says about divorce. And divorce was always adultery. Adultery was always signified to the woman with a married man. A man who wasn't married could not commit adultery because it revolved around sex. So if he wasn't married, he couldn't commit adultery because he wasn't having sex, in which that means whoever he had sex with, that was then his wife. This is why the whole thing is different. This is why when Jesus writes in the sand and the Pharisees come to him about stoning the woman, he says, he without first sin cast the first stone. They couldn't do nothing. And they more or less was guilty of the offense that they brought her for, being married themselves. but getting sloughed down and doing whatever else. Man, it's just, there are so many aspects. I don't even want to go into all the rest of them because the ones I've stated is like so obvious to me to see. We know how we've acted and changed. We know what we've done. The type of treatment we've given that individual without the ceremony, without the papers, treating the other person like they're your spouse. And other people coming up walking to you saying, y'all married? Y'all been sleeping together. You didn't have no ceremony. But that other individual will come up to you and asking you, oh, that's your husband and wife. And you say no, not realizing technically you are because y'all been sleeping together. But hey, what do I know? You know. But whatever, man. I don't want to go too much further because I'm sure about 20 minutes. Yeah, I'm past 20 minutes. And I made a vow I don't want to do no stuff beyond 26, 30 minutes, and I'm getting too close. So with that being said, hit that like, hit that share and subscribe button. Fix your face, fix your spirit, leave a comment. Gladly appreciate it. Most of all, strive to be better, strive to be perfect, which is mature. And most of all, make the most of every single day you've been granted. And with that being said, be easy.